What does it mean to be chaste? Chastity is a virtue, and it's about our bodies and sexuality and the act of sex. But more than that, it is that we are living that out according to God's law. And what it really means, and it means different things in different vocations, but ultimately that sex is meant for marriage alone between a man and a woman, and then outside of that, there it is no sex, or it's immoral to engage in that outside of that. But let's dig into that. I want you first to notice this is like question 49 of the 50 truths. I think it's here for a reason. It's not question number 1. You know, the gospel of Jesus, he didn't come and say, hey, everybody, I'm here to talk to you about sex and what you need to do and the commandment. It's more the end. And we really need to understand so much to get chastity, to get our sexuality. We need to understand who we are, who God is, who Jesus is. We need to understand love, virtue, morality, the Bible. So that's why it's question 49, and it's also that way too because we need all that. We can't just start there. That's why it's so hard for our world. The world just doesn't get it because we need like the first 48 questions, and our world doesn't get all that. So chastity is about self-mastery. We all have to master ourselves. That's the hardest thing to master. Because we have these passions inside of us, feelings and desires, and they make us want to do this or that. Well, if we just constantly give in to whatever we feel or whatever we're attracted to or desire, if we just say, oh, I feel that, I want that, I'm going to do it, we're going to have a messed up life. We're going to end up in jail, or we're going to hurt people, we're going to hurt ourselves. The alternative is clear. If we don't have self-mastery, we're going to be unhappy because we're just going to be slaves of our desire. We're never really going to achieve anything in life. Just look at anything, school, sports, relationships. It can't just be me, what I want. No, we always have to put something ahead. The good of the team, the good of learning. Yeah, I feel like playing video games. But no, self-mastery means, no, I want to grow. I want to achieve something. Relationships. No, I got to put you first. It's just the way it is. And so too with our sexuality and chastity. We need to be mastered of ourselves. And it's not just a no, but there's always a yes to it. It's not just no. What am I really saying yes to? And what we're saying yes to is holiness, goodness, and really love. All these things. So to have chastity, we need to be integrated so much. Like I said, it's question 49. What do we all got to integrate? We got to integrate our body with our soul here. The flesh is weak, Jesus said. In the agony in the garden, the apostles, they fell asleep. And he's like so disappointed. 1 hour I needed you to pray with me. This is the hour I needed you. And then they just fell asleep. They gave in. They did not master themselves. The flesh is weak, Jesus has said. The spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. We got to integrate body and soul. We need the soul to overcome this flesh. But it's got to be integrated, healthy, together, not fighting each other. Although the body's always going to fight us, it's just always going to do that. We need to integrate what healthy relationships look like, what discipline looks like, freedom. I think we talked about freedom earlier. It's not do whatever you want. If we do whatever we want, we're going to end up broken down and getting nowhere. But freedom is for the good and excellence. We got to integrate goodness. Chastity takes skill. It's not just willpower. If you just try to white knuckle it, no, you got to use your brains here. Don't play around with fire. Don't go where you're going to be tempted. It's not a fair playing ground, so, keep things in your favor. Don't near occasion of sin. Avoid it. We have to know ourselves. Sometimes we just have to realize this is about obedience, and that's how Jesus saved the world. That's all going to be integrated in this. We have to be obedient to God. This is the way God made it. Yeah, would we like it differently? Maybe. Too bad. It's not. God didn't make it that way. We got to obey. Well, I don't want it that way. Well, obedience is part of this. Chastity is a virtue. We have to work on the virtues. It's not just, it's got to be practiced and grown in. We need prayer. We can't do this alone. We need grace. It's going to be an effort for life. All these things. So I'm making it sound hard, but it's joyful and a gift of grace. It's ultimately, chastity is about a gift of self. We can't give ourselves if we don't possess ourselves. If I'm just going all over the place, I can't truly give myself. The gift of self is seen in marriage. That's what a bride and groom do. I give myself to you, and it's a commitment for life, for the good of the other, and that's a real gift of self. And a lot of times we talk about sex is really the vows and just living them out, and that's how they need to be lived. Even married couples have to have chastity. They just don't do whatever they feel. They have to have a relationship there. They got to communicate, and they have to say no to everybody else in the world so they can say yes to each other. So married couples have chastity. Priests, of course, we renounce marriage, and religious do too. So we have the chastity of celibacy. And for single people or engaged, it doesn't matter. They're not married yet. They're called to chastity, to refrain from sex until marriage. It's a gift of self. It's also holy ground. That's why we can't just redefine it and make it whatever we want. One of the holiest things you can do is the act of sex, because how do you bring a new life into the world? I think that's the most godlike thing we can do. Create life. There's only one way to do it, a man and a woman, this act of sex. Can't we see that's just holy? That's why anything less than that, we're taking what is holy and we're twisting it. And of course, that's what feeds so many disorders in our world and so much hurt and pain. So Catholics, we're not like sex is bad, 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 dirty, 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 don't do it. It's not that. Sex is holy. That's why we kind of put it on a pedestal and say, no, this is what sex is about, marriage, man and a woman. Now, people struggle with it. Single people struggle with it. Engaged couples struggle with it. People struggle with same-sex attraction. Everybody has desires and passions. And I'm not picking on anybody. I'm picking on everybody because God's picking on everybody. We just kind of got to get over it. Everybody's going to struggle and have difficulty with this. And I'm not saying, do what you want. We need to strive to live this out. We need God's help to do it. And the end result is joy. We can truly give ourselves the way God has made us in the gift of marriage with the possibility of bringing new life into the world. Is so beautiful. But it takes discipline, it takes grace. So chastity is that virtue where we often have to, in our state of life, say no to those desires. This earth is temporary. The joys of heaven, the joys of just being able to love are so worth it. Chastity is about love. We can have great friendships, great relationships that don't need sex. Our sexuality is always into it. We're male and female. Joy, love, life, friendships, all these things are related into it. What does it mean to be chaste? Hopefully that kind of answered it for you. I know this is so much we could say, but we only got, we went 9 minutes. So I think that's enough. But let's pray, strive, and let's be joyful that we can live out this wonderful gift in the proper way. Chastity.